Morning algebra. Table of contents. Today we're going to do inequalities. Beauty is, it's nothing different than solving multi-step equations. Same exact thing except for one little difference. I added another lesson that we did do. It was online, the multi-step equations, okay, which you've been doing for the past week, basically. All right, so page 10. I made a mistake, so I'm starting over and I'm going to glue this sheet in. But today for inequalities, I had someone walk in the room and made a mistake. In inequalities, you are looking, your solution is actually a range of numbers. Up until now, we have had one solution or no solution or infinitely many solutions. Okay, so we have a golden rule for inequalities. If you multiply, yes, I'm going to do cursive. You guys need to get ready for high school. Learn to connect your letters to write faster. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, here it goes. Probably remember this from last year. You always flip the inequality symbol. Okay, so what does that look like? And what I want to do is I want to do two examples, and I'm going to put them side by side, solve them differently, okay? But we will end up with the same solution, okay? All right, so let's try 5 minus 3x is less than or equal to 13 plus x. We're going to do it twice. I want to show side by side because I think this will help you with your multi-step equations as well, okay? All right, so on the left, what I want to do, the goal is, remember, boxing and circling. So I'm going to go ahead and box my coefficient and variable. Remember, when I have an x all by itself, I can add a 1 there, okay? I'm going to circle my constants. There we go. My goal is to get the boxes on one side and the circles on the other. So what I want to do first is I want to get this x and move it over here. So if I have a positive x, I'm going to subtract an x, because until we have combined all like terms, we're still adding and subtracting. So if I do it on one side, I must do it on the other. Always rewrite. So now I have 5 minus 4x. Because if we're combining these, we're adding a negative and a negative is going to be a negative 4x. Okay, and then this adds up to 0, and I'm left with 13. So now my goal, I know some of you understand this and you're not needing to box and circle, and which is perfectly fine. I'm going to get rid of the 5 over here. And so technically, if we want to remove something from one side, all you do is get rid of it and you switch the sign on the other. That's it. Okay, so so some of you have been watching me work and you're like, Ms. Kowalski, you just skipped about 2 to 3 steps, because I've been doing it so long and become fluent in it, and I can do that, which is what ultimately you will do. All right, so this adds up to 0. Okay, so I am with negative 4x is less than or equal to 13 minus 5 is 8. Okay? So now what I want to do is that's right, to undo multiplication, because I have a box and I have a circle. Now I can divide. And the confusing thing is when you have a negative here, that's not subtraction, it is actually a negative 4, and it must stay with that coefficient. But if I divide by a negative 4 here, I must do it on the other side. So negative 4 divided by negative 4 is a 1, and I don't have to show it, which is why I cancel that out. And x, 8 divided by negative 4 is negative 2. Okay, so if you were to justify this, now we know that we have to do something special with the sign. If I divide by the negative 4, the number that is in front of that coefficient, then I always switch the sign the other way. Okay, let's justify. So I will choose a number that is greater than -2, and I'm going to pick 0 because it makes it so much easier. So if I have 5 minus 3 times 0 needs to be less than or equal to 13 plus 0. So 5 minus, because 3 times 0 is 0, so 5 minus 0 is 5. Is that less than or equal to 13? Yes. So it's satisfied. So I can pick any number. Remember, any number that is greater than a -2. All right, so what I want to do is I want to solve it a different way and show you what happens, because I'm not going to flip the sign this time, but I'm still going to get the same answer. So what I want to do, instead of subtracting an x on this side, I'm going to go the other way. Okay? And I'll show you why. All right, so what I want to do is I want to move this 3x over here. So I'm going to add 3x. I'm looking at my time. Hold on. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to add 3x over here. So this adds up to 0. Okay. And now I'm always going to rewrite. I get 5 is less than or equal to 13. X plus 3x, that's right, is 4x. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to box again. Okay. My goal now is to get this circle over here. So I need to subtract 13. So we know that 13 minus 13, right, adds up to 0. And I am left with 4x. I always rewrite. 5 minus 13 is a -8. Okay? Now, what do I need to do? I need to, if you notice my coefficient with my variable, to undo multiplication, I have to divide. That's right. So I'm going to divide by 4. And you notice in the other problem, we had to flip the sign. But look at here. Am I dividing by a negative number? No. It's not a negative number. So I'm not going to flip the sign. So x is greater than or equal to -2. Let's see if it works. Do you notice that my signs are different? And which side is the variable on? This side it's on the left, isn't it? And this side is on the right. So what's a number greater than -2? 0. So can I justify that answer? Yes. And you can do that right here. And I'll let you do that by yourself. Pretty simple. It's something that we have already done before. All you're doing is the golden rule of inequalities. Just flip the sign if you divide or multiply by a negative number. Yes, you can thank me now. I'm not going to make you do all of these, but what I do want you to do, thank you, Cynthia, for telling me that you want to do odds. So we are going to do all the odds. All right. See you today.